Konnichiwa, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my Japanese Faves Food Wars series, where we'll make the dishes from the Netflix anime series known in Japan as Shokugeki no Soma and known in the US as Food Wars. This lesson is my Nikogori 1 version of Soma's Nikogori, which are gelatin cubes with a deep and savory flavor. It would be more accurate to say they're little umami bombs packed with yumminess. Soma uses them to make his transforming furikake rice recipe. I have a separate lesson on that. There are many ways to make the stock for Nikogori, but this lesson isn't about making stock. I used chicken stock and dashi, which I made from scratch. I have separate lessons on that too. Nikogori is easy to make, but don't feel locked into my particular ingredients. Use this technique to make Nikogori with your own ingredients combo. Although this Nikogori transforms Soma's furikake rice, you can use it to garnish just about anything. You could also make it a little spicy by adding tobanjan, which is Japanese chili paste, or gochujang, which is Korean chili paste, to add a little extra kick. You could also transport these flavor bombs to Italian cooking to garnish risotto or pasta dishes. In fact, look for a lesson like this in my Italian Faves series. So let's start cooking. Now the first thing that we're going to do to make our Nikogori is to start with 4 cups of chicken stock and reduce that to 2 cups. Okay, so we're going to put that on a little bit more than medium heat. We'll let it come to a boil and we're going to watch it. So we'll reduce this by about half. I have a separate lesson on making stock. Okay, I've reduced the stock by half. How do I know? Okay, you can eyeball it if you want, but what I do usually is when I think that it's starting to get down to where I want it, I pour it into a measuring cup to see if I've reduced it by half. If I haven't, I put it back into the pan and reduce it some more. Why do we reduce? It reduces volume because we only want to end up with 2 cups, but it also intensifies flavor, okay? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add 1 cup of dashi. I'm using first dashi. I have a separate lesson on making dashi. You could use second dashi if you want. And then we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. Then we're going to bring that to a boil. And if you've taken my course, my cooking course, you know that bring to a boil doesn't mean boil. It means to heat it up until it just comes to a boil. Okay, so we do not want to boil it. We just want to bring it to a boil. Okay, stirring it up now to mix in the dashi and the sesame oil. And then we're just going to bring that to a boil. Okay, we're just starting to get some bubbles. We're going to turn off the heat. Okay, now why did we want to just bring it to a boil and not boil it? Because we don't want it to evaporate anymore. We want to end up with 2 cups of chicken stock, 1 cup of dashi hot, okay? Now we're gonna season it lightly with some kosher salt and a little bit of ground white pepper. That goes a long way, so don't use too much of it. And we're going to season lightly. You can always add seasoning later on. It's hard to take it, we can't take it away, and it's hard to adjust if you put in too much. Okay, so we're going to stir that up. Okay, now I have here in a large bowl the remaining cup of dashi, which is cold. And I have here 4 envelopes of the Knox unflavored gelatin. I've taken it out of little envelopes, put it into a bowl. Now we're going to sprinkle that on top of the cold dashi. Try to distribute it uniformly. And then we're going to let that sit for about a minute. You'll see it start to gel pretty quickly. I see it starting to gel already. Okay, we'll let that sit for about a minute or so. I know it's been about a minute, and you can see that the dashi has pretty much absorbed all of that gelatin, and it's already kind of gelled in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the hot stock and dashi mixture, and we're going to stir it up until all of the gelatin is dissolved and uniformly mixed in. You Might have to stir it for a few minutes. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes that I've been stirring. Now we want to adjust the seasoning. And still need salt. We want the salt taste to just be coming through. In fact, it could be slightly salty because these are going to be used to kind of add flavor to another dish. They're not going to be eaten on their own. Okay, we're also going to add a little bit more of the white pepper. Okay, we're going to stir that up and then taste it again. All right, let's taste it again. That's good. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, now we're going to pour the mixture into the pan in which it's going to gel. All right, now I am using a 1/4 sheet pan, which is rather shallow. But if you use this amount of mixture that I've made, and you put it into this pan, it will be a 1/2 inch deep, so you'll end up with a 1/2 inch cube. You can use another 9 by 12 pan that's deeper. Now, if I were smart, I would have put the pan into the fridge before I poured the liquid in it. But it's kind of hard to do and still get a good video. But if you're using a shallow pan like this, you might want to do that. Put the pan in the fridge, then pour the liquid into it while the pan is in the fridge, or use a deeper pan. So it's easier to get into the fridge without spilling it. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to put this into the fridge and chill it until the gelatin sets firmly, which will be probably around 3 hours. Okay, our Nikogori has set up beautifully. Okay, now what we're going to do is slice it into 1/2 inch cubes, and we're just going to eyeball that. We're going to just slice this whole tray into 1/2 inch cubes. All right, now we're going to try to get them out of the pan here without messing them up. And I'm going to just kind of spread them out a little bit onto a larger sheet pan. Okay, now I'm just going to take 1/2 of them for what I'm doing tonight, and save the rest for later. I'm just dividing these up, or I should say separating them, so that they're not sticking together. They won't really stick together anyway, but I'm just trying to get them separated. It'll make them easier to use later on for the dish I'm making tonight. Okay, there we go. Nikogori. Now, you can see photos of a dish that uses the Nikogori at my Instagram, which is @Chef's Apprentice, Cook Like a Pro. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.